What's up, you data friends? It's Yanis here and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take some Excel raw data that looks like this and turn it into this interactive Power BI dashboard. So we're going to start this with a new file, blank file, and we're going to build this dashboard bit by bit. Now, please note that this Excel raw data is actually the results, so the predictions of our machine learning models that we've run in the previous videos. So if you want to understand how we did those predictions, then I suggest watching the two previous videos, which I'm going to have the link in the video description, which is basically running, I think 3 or 4 different models in Python and making predictions per car. But if you're not interested in the Python and the machine learning, then you can watch just this video, which is where we build this Power BI dashboard from scratch. I'm going to have all the files in my GitHub page, so I'm going to have the link in the video description where you can download the raw data, the PBIX file, and also the Python file in case you want to run the machine learning models. And before we start this tutorial, let me just say that if you're passionate about data analytics and data science, then please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and enable notifications from future videos. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to open a new blank Power BI file. Then we click over here. The first thing I want to do is to increase the size of my canvas. So we can click over here where it says format your report. Then here, canvas settings, we want to change these to custom, and we want to increase the height so we have more space. So I'm going to put this to 1500 for now. Then I'm going to go here under view, page view, and fit to width so I can see all the space. Then what I want to do is to change the background. So all the background of my page to be a gray background. So I can go over here, I can select a light gray, and then I can reduce the transparency. So you can see now it's light gray. If I create something, you'll be able to see. So if I do this, insert, shape, square, then if I put this to white, give me a sec, here and then white, you can see it's two different colors. It's a gray background now, but you cannot tell if you don't put the white in. Right, the next thing I want to do is to load the raw data. So we go under home, we click get data. We want to get the data from an Excel file. Then you're going to need to select the Excel file you've downloaded from my GitHub page. So mine is saved, let me remember, I think it's over here, all files, it's this CSV file, car predictions output CSV, click open. Then over here we can inspect our data, so we can see it's the right Excel file and we can actually see the predictions over here. Then we click on load over here, and now we're going to have our raw data loaded into Power BI where we can start building our visuals. You can see we have the raw data now under fields over here. We can expand the table and we can see the column names. So these column names are actually these column names we have in Excel. And if we want to view them, so view the data in them, we can click over here under data. And here, if we click on the table, we'll be able to visualize our Excel raw data. So this is the same data as this Excel file. Next, we're going to go back into our report and we're going to start building our visuals. And the first thing we have to do is to add this title you see over here, the car price predictions summary. I'm going to copy this so I can paste it, and then I'm going to go back into our file. Over here, I'm going to delete this box and I'm going to go under insert and I'm going to add a text box. And here I'm going to resize this one to take all this space. So I think, let me put it down. I think this is fine. And here I'm going to paste our title, which is car price prediction summary. I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm going to set the size to 28. I think that's fine. And I'm also going to make this a bit smaller. So I think like this is fine. Next, if we go back into our dashboard, the next thing we have is our slicers. So when I'm building Power BI dashboards, I always start with the slicers at the top, and I try to select only the most important slices, because here you can see we have tons of data we can use as slicers, but over here I only have 4. And these slices are going to be the engine type, the cylinder number, the fuel type, and the phase. So if I go back into our dashboard, actually, I'm going to move this over here so I can see. First, I need to create the first slicer. So to create a slicer, we click over here where it says slicer. Then we need to resize this to take less space. I'm going to put it over here. And then the first slicer is going to be the engine type. So I can either find the engine type here and drag it in the slicer, or here where it has fields, but I can also search for engine type like this and then either click on it. So if I click on it, you can see it automatically added it over there, and we can see the engine types over here. However, if you remember, we don't want to see it in this format, so I'm actually going to change the format. If we click over here in this drop down, we can select a drop down, not a list, and this is going to reformat the slicer to be this drop down where we click on the drop down. We can also add a search by doing this search, and we can search for specific engine types over here. Right, I'm going to resize this, so make it a bit smaller. Then I'm going to go over here. I am going to remove the slicer header, and I'm going to include a title. I'm not sure why we have title and header, but I prefer to use the title and never the header. And the header is going to be the engine type, like this. Then I'm going to put this in the middle, and then I'm going to resize it a bit like this. So now we have our first slicer. Next, I want to create the other 3 slicers. So what I can do is that I can copy this. So Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. So now we have 4 slicers. So we can put them like this. And a quick way to align them is that we can select all 4. Actually, let me make sure I use all this space. I'm going to put it a bit up like this. So now we can select all 4. We can go under format, we can align at the top, and we can also align this distribute horizontally. So you can see that they overlap. So what we can do is that we can select all of them and we can reduce the size. So under general properties, the width, I'm going to make this 307, click enter. Now you can see they are smaller. So I'm going to move this again over here, and then I'm going to select all of them again. Then go under format, align, distribute horizontally. So now they have equal distances between each other. Next, I want to change these slicers now to their respective field. So the second slicer we have is the cylinder number. So I can click over here. I can find the cylinder number from here, which is this one over here. And I can either drag it on top and remove the engine size, or I can just remove the engine size and then drag the cylinder number in. So now if we click on the drop down, you can see we have the cylinder numbers. However, we need to change the title. So if you go back over here and the general title and then the engine type, we're going to change these to, I think, cylinder number, like this. Right. Next, we want to change this one to the fuel type. So we can search for fuel, and then we can drag it on the top, fuel type, remove this one. However, we don't want to have it in this drop down format. We actually want to have it in this list format that we have over here. To do this now, I need to follow these steps. I need to click over here, I need to go back, and I need to add the slicer header. I need to change this to a list. So as you can see now, it's a list. So you can see the list. Next, actually, I'm going to change the title because it's annoying. This is actually fuel type. So this is fuel type. So we can see the correct title, fuel type. Sorry, we're missing a space. Next, I want to click into here, then slicer settings, and I want to change the orientation to horizontal. So now we have them next to each other. Next, I want to go back into the visual, and then I want to remove the slicer header because I don't want to see this fuel type over there. So now it's removed. I also want to remove the search. So if I click on the search again, because we only have 2 options, so we don't really need the search. Then I want to resize this one like this, and now we have fuel type, diesel or gas. Next, we want to change the last slicer we have, which is this slicer over here. If I show it to you, is the phase. So we have the existing phase, which is data we already have, And we also have a new unseen numbers, which is basically our predictions. So if we click on it, we will only see our predictions. So I'm going to go back into our dashboard. I'm actually going to delete this one and then copy and paste this slicer because this is the format I want to follow now. And I'm going to search for face and I'm going to drag face in. I'm going to remove the fuel type and I'm also going to change the title into face. So this one should be the face. We'll have two phases, existing or new unseen data. Right, so now we have finished with our slices. The next thing we need to do is to add our main graphs. And when I say main graphs, when I build dashboards, I always try to have the most important category at the top. And in our case, the most important category is the car body, whether it's a sedan, hatchback, wagon, hardtop, or a convertible, and also the most important fields into big cards. When I say the most important fields, is things like the number of products or cars we have, which is the number of cars in our case, and the number of cars over here, or the value. So anything that has to do with revenue, cost, or loss always goes in big cards when I'm building dashboards. Right, so we're going to go back into our dashboard now and we're going to start building these visuals. So we're going to need to start with the number of cars per car body. To do this now, first we need to select the visual and it's going to be this visual over here, the cluster column, cluster column chart. I'm going to resize this to take more space. So I think it's like this. Then under the x-axis, we need to drag our category, the most important category, which is the car body. So we can actually search for it or we can just drag it like this. In our y-axis, we are going to have the number of cars per this category. And in order to achieve this, we need to count the number of distinct cars. So in our case, we have car ID, but be aware this is a number, so it's actually summing them right now. What we need to do is to count the distinct IDs per car body. So this is counting now the distinct IDs. So sorry, let me put it like this. The distinct IDs, so the distinct cars per car body. Next, we need to make this graph look nicer. So a few of the things I always try to follow is that the title should always be in the middle. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go under general title over here. This is the number of cars per car body. And this is going to go in the middle like this. Next, we want to change some of the coloring. So we go under columns. We change this default to maybe a lighter blue. Come on, move like this. Then we also want to add the data labels, so the actual numbers. As you can see, I'm going to expand this and I'm going to change the value, so the color of these values to be dark blue, maybe like this, bold, and then a bit bigger. There we go, so we can see we have 96 cars under sedan, 70 under hatchback, etc, etc. And the other thing I want to do is to change these titles. So to achieve this, we can go back, we can rename this to car body with capitals, and this y-axis is the number of cars. And if I click enter, you can see now in our y-axis we have the number of cars, and in our x-axis we have the car body categories. So sedan, hatchback, wagon, hardtop, and convertible. Right, moving on, the next thing we want to do is to add these two cards over here. So the average price per car and then the number of cars. So the total cars we have in our data. So if you go back into our dashboard, to add a card is this card over here. We're going to resize it to be over here. And then I'm going to make it a bit smaller, like this, let's say. And then into this field over here in our card, we are going to find the price. So this is the price. We're going to drag the price over here. And we are going to change it from sum, because the default is always sum, into the average. And as you can see, the average price, because our data is per car, so each row is a car, so this is the average price per car. To make it a value now, I'm going to click over it and I'm going to make it a dollar value. So if I click on the dollar over there, then I'm going to add a title. So I'm going to remove the category label because I don't want the category label over there. And I'm going to add the title, which is over here. And then the title is going to be the average, where is it? Average price per car. Like this. I'm going to put it in the middle, and I'm also going to change the color of our value, and this value is the callout value, and the color is going to be a green color. So let's go over green, let's select this color maybe, there we go. So this is the average price per car. Actually, I don't like this green, I want a darker green, so let me check again. So can I do, what's a darker green? With this one, yeah, this one is much better. Next, we need to add the card next to it, which is the total number of cars we have. So very quickly, I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it, I'm going to move it next to it like this. I'm going to change the title into the number of cars. So number of cars like this. Then I'm going to change the field value over here to be the car ID, but it's going to be the count distinct car IDs. So now we have 205 distinct cars. So if we go back in Excel and then we click into our cars over here, you can see the count. So the count is 206, which is the number of cars. Actually, I have 205 here, so 206 with the title, so it's actually 205. So this is the total number of cars we have in our data. Now I want to change the color of this callout value to be a dark blue color. So let's see this one. Maybe not, maybe go over here, select the blues, select the dark blue. So this one is fine. Next, we want to add these two graphs below our cards. So this is the average price per car body. So this is exactly the same graph as this one, but instead of showing the number of cars per car body category, now we're going to show the average price for each car in those car body categories. And to do this is going to be very quick, by the way. We can just copy this graph as is, paste it, come down here to resize it. So it's going to take this much space. Maybe let's make this a bit bigger so it's visible. And now I'm going to change my y-axis from number of cars into the price, so the price of the car, and I'm going to change this price from sum to be the average. So now we have the average price per car body category. If I go under the title, I'm going to change it. Title is over here. This is the average price per car body category. I'm not going to add the category because there is not enough space, but we can see that on average, the most expensive car body categories is the hardtop and the convertible, which is these two over here, which we have the least amount of cars. And then the cheapest car body category on average is the hatchback over here, which we have 70 hatchbacks. Right, the next thing we need to add now is our last car over here. So if we view it, it's actually how many cars we have in our existing database and how many new cars we have, which we've made predictions for those new cars. So we've actually predicted the price of those new cars. To do this, we're going to go back. I'm actually going to copy this as is and paste it, put it over here. Change the graph into the clustered bar graph, but this is the horizontal, not the vertical. And then change the y-axis to be the phase. So I'm going to drag phase over here, and then I'm going to remove the car body category. So now you can see we have the phase. And now I'm going to change the average of price into the count of distinct car ID, because we want to see how many distinct cars we have per phase. Next, I want to make my y-axis visible. So I'm going to go under y-axis and I'm going to increase, I think it's this one. There we go. So you can see all data is visible now. I am going to remove the x-axis category, which is the count of IDs. So I'm going to remove it because now it's actually visible. We have 164 existing data cars and 41 new data cars. By the way, to make the colors more consistent, I'm going to copy this color. So under here, I'm going to click on more. I'm going to copy the hex and I'm going to apply it into the callout values over here. So the data labels, the value, the color, I'm going to put this hex. So now you can see it's the same two colors. And I'm going to repeat the same process for this one. It's actually this. And then the same for this one over here. So now we have created half of the dashboard, and usually I try to test all my filters if they work as they should. To do this, I'm going to click on sedans and we can see that everything is filtering, hashtags, everything is filtering. I'm going to test one engine size so you can see it's filtering correctly. I'm going to check the cylinder numbers. You can see it works correctly. Diesel, gas, existing data, so you can see everything is filtering as it should. Another check I always do is that I go and confirm that I show the correct numbers by cross-checking with my raw data in Excel in our case. So very quickly we have checked the number of cars, so 206, but it's actually 205 because it's counting the car name. Also, we can check the average price. So if we come over here and the price, we check the average is 13.2. And if we check over here is 13.2. So we are actually showing the correct data. Right, moving on in the next section now. So the next three visuals we have are all related to our predictions. So the first one, it has the best predictors for car prices. So this is actually insights that we have identified by running our machine learning models in Python. So this is where we have identified that the best predictors of price, so the variables that affect price the most, are these variables over here. In order to create this now, by the way, I'm going to copy all of this text. If we go back into our dashboard, we need to create a new text box. So we click over here. We need to resize it to take this much space, I think. And then we need to paste the data over here. So actually we need to make it bigger like this. So now we have the best predictors for car price. And these are insights that we have identified from our machine learning models in Python. Next, we need to show the relationship of engine size with price. And the reason we chose engine size and price is because engine size is the best predictor of price. So it has a very good relationship with price. So as we increase the engine size, as you can see, the price of the car increases too. So we go back into our dashboards. We want to click on the scatter plot. So this scatter plot over here. We are going to resize it to take more space. So I think we take all the space until here. Then into our x-axis and y-axis, we are going to use the price and the engine size. So I think engine size is y, and then price is going to be the x-axis. Into our values, we are going to add the car names because we are actually going to display them later on. And into the legend now, we want to break this data by what we have in our dashboard. We have it by cylinder number. We can actually break it down by any measure we want. So we can check cylinder number and we can also check, I don't know, car body if we want. So let's do car body to view how it looks. So this is the car body, and let's also do cylinder number. Where is it? Cylinder number over here. So you can see now it's broken down by cylinder number. The reason I left cylinder number is because you can see we have better clusters. So you can see they are broken down differently. So the 8 cylinders are up here, then the 4 cylinders are concentrated over here, The 3 cylinders, there's only 1, and then the 2 cylinders are over here. Right, next we want to change the title now. So let's take this title from here, is price versus engine size. So we go over here, general title, and here is going to be price, where is it, price versus engine size. We need to put this in the middle like this. We also want to move the legend to be at the bottom center like this. We want to change our x-axis price with capital P, same with engine, and then maybe add the space, so engine size like this. So engine size, price, we have the cylinder numbers. Let's change the cylinder numbers too. So capital C and then cylinder number like this. Oh, I didn't click enter, so it didn't save it. So let me do it again. Cylinder, then number like this. Next, we also want to add the regression line. So as you can see over here, we have the regression line going through it. So it shows the relationship. So to add the regression line, we need to go over here, the add further analysis, add the trend line, which is the line of best fit. There you go, you can see it. And next, we also want to enable the car names. So to do this is the category label. So if we click on, you can see we have all the car names. And if we make this bigger, so you can see that the most expensive car we have is this Buick Regal Sport Coupe. Then we have this other one. Then is this BMW over here. Then is this Porsche, BM, Jaguar. And then the least expensive cars are over here at the bottom. And again, as you can see, as we increase the engine size, then the price of the car increases as well. Right, the next visual we want to create now is this bar chart over here that has all the cars. So you can see all the cars. It has their actual price, so how much we are actually selling them. And we also have the predicted price. So what is the price that our machine learning model predicted that we should be selling that car? To do this now, we need to first create this horizontal bar chart over here. Actually, what is it? Cluster bar chart. So, but it's horizontal, it's not vertical. Then we need to take all this space. Then under y-axis, we need the car name, which is over here. And then into the x-axis, we want to add the price, which is the actual price, and also the price prediction, which is the predicted price. And I'm going to rename this into actual price, and this one into predicted price. So this is our machine learning model prediction. Next, I want to make sure I have all the cars visible. So I'm going to go under y-axis and I'm going to increase this. Maybe, oh my God, this is a very long car name. We can't even have the full visual car name. But what we can do is that we can reduce this like this. So now we have a bit more space. I'm going to also remove the title, so we have more space like this. I am going to also, let's also remove this x-axis because we want to add the data labels. So add the data labels like this. Then what else can we do? We can remove the legend to be at the bottom. Actually, do we need the legend? Yeah, we need the legend. So let's put it in the bottom center. So where is it? Bottom center, like this. Then we want to remove this category over here, which is under the x-axis. I think we removed it. Sorry, the x-axis. Then remove the title. There we go, like this. Maybe we can make this smaller. Let's see. So it's more visible. Yeah, it's almost more visible. Next, we want to change the coloring. So let's try and select two good light colors. So under bars, we can have the actual to this one, the same color as before. And the predicted, let's use something light green maybe, or let's see how it looks. No, this one, light green. slider. Yeah, I think this one is fine. And then if we select just to dance, just to see if it works, it's not filtering through. And in order to make the graphs to be filtered by other graphs, you need to click on format, edit the interactions, and then on top of this, it's actually the interaction is not visible. So if I select this one, sorry, I want this one to be filtering out, not highlighting. So now it's not going to be highlighting, it's going to be filtered out like this. And sorry, the next thing we need to do, remove these interactions, is to change the colors of the data labels. And for example, for the blue one, here we need to select the actual price, if I remember correctly, and we need to change the color of the actual price to be this dark blue. And now we have to go back and select the predicted price, and this one is going to be something greeny, like this green over here. And then if we select this 6, so you can see it's clearer because now it's just 6. If we select this 8, you can see again it's clearer. And what this is telling us, actually before we analyze it, let's fully fix it. The title also needs fixing, so we're going to move the title in the middle, and this is the actual price versus predicted price by car name, so that's fine. So what this is telling me is that for this Sport Coupe car, the actual price is 45k, but our model predicted the price of 39k, so this is quite far off, it's 6k difference. But everything else, you can see that our model is very close. Look at these ones, 28, 28, 33, 33, 11, 11. So our predictions are actually very good. If we check the new unseen data, so the predictions for this one, so actually I'm going to go back into the interactions. So click over here, go back into format, edit interactions. Then I want to be filtering this one, not highlighting, like this. Then remove them again. So this is the 41 unseen data, so these cars, and you can see we predicted 39, but it should have been 45. This one, our prediction is higher. This one is actually very close, very close, very close, very close. You can see now we are giving the business a way to interpret our predictions on new unseen data by creating this dashboard and interpreting this dashboard. And another thing we can do on this visual is to go over here under the bars and actually increase the spacing. So the minimum category width, if we make this to 30, you can see now we have less cars showing up, so it's easier to interpret them. And then if we start clicking on stuff, I think we have new unseen data. Let's check wagons, for example. So you can see it's very clear to read it, very clear, very clear. So we're just making sure that the business can clearly read these graphs. Right, and the last thing we have to do now is to create our summary table. So every time I create a dashboard, at the very end, I create summary tables that have most of the data in case the business wants to deep dive. So for example, if we click on new unseen data, now this table has only new unseen data, and they can see all the details for the new unseen cars. So that's why we always need the consolidated table at the end that has most of the data. Right, so in order to create this table, it's actually very easy. Let me unfilter this. So if I put this back here, we need to click on this table over here. We need to take all the space because we're going to have loads of data in this table. And now we need to add the columns. So let me see which columns I have added here. So I think we start with the car name and then the car body. So let's do car name and then we do car body. Then we have the cylinder number, door number, and drive wheel. So the cylinder number, which is, where is it? Cylinder number, door number, drive wheel. Then we have the engine location and then the fuel type. So engine location, which is this one. Then we have the fuel type. Then we have the car height and car length. So car height, car length like this. Then we have the width and the width base. So this one is going to be, I think it's car width, and then the wheelbase, and then we have the horsepower, and then the engine size. So horsepower, which is this one, then the engine size. Then we have the curb weight. So this is one of the most important variables. And then we have the price and the price prediction. So this is price prediction. And lastly, we have the phase. So as you can see, we have tons of data. The first thing I want to do is to change the style of these to be minimal. I always like to go with this minimal style. Then I need to reduce the value size so we can see more data like this. Then I'm going to make these columns smaller so all the data fits, so like this. So I want to have all the data visible so the business doesn't have to scroll anything like this, especially price predictions, and then price maybe. What else we can make smaller? The fuel type like this, the carb height. So you can see they are all without space, so one word. So if we add the spaces, we also need to add the capitals, but we're not going to do it now because it's going to take time. So you can see the number. So the Power BI is going to know when to add the break. So door number, for example, make it a bit bigger. So like this. So now pretty much all the data is visible almost. So this is in one, the car, what's this? Car height. So add the space. There we go. Everything is visible. This one again, it needs to be bigger. Right, so I think we've made everything visible now, and the wheelbase is probably the last one. So wheelbase, we add the space, and we can see wheelbase. So almost everything. Actually, you know what, guys, I'm gonna remove this. There we go. So everything is very clearly visible now. So we can see all of our data. And the last thing I want to show you is, again, make this a bit bigger. The last thing I want to show you is how to format your table to flash out important values. So we can add these two formatting of price and predictions. And in order to do this, we need to click on our table. We need to go over here. We need to go under call elements. We need to select the price. So I'm going to start with price. We are going to add background color, and then we are also going to click over here to change the color. So we're going to select the blue that we have always selected, which is this blue over here. Very quickly, I'm going to copy the hex of this color. So I make sure I use the same color. So I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go under, where is it? The call elements. Going to select price. I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to change this color into our hex. There we go. So now it's the same color. I'm going to follow the same process with this green over here. So I'm going to click under the bars. I'm going to copy this hex. So copy. Then I'm going to click back in our table. Then I'm going to click on the call elements. Then I'm going to select the price predictions. I'm going to add the background. And then I'm also going to change this color to this hex over here. Maybe this one should start from a lighter green. So if I put this, maybe from almost white, like this, click OK. So now it's ordered from lowest to highest for price predictions. Another thing we can do is that we can put the column headers in the middle. So you can see that in the middle. Also, we should be changing everything to capitals, but that's going to take time. Next, I want to remove any unneeded space we have down here. So we can go back in the canvas settings, and we can change the height to be, I don't know, 13. Let's see, a bit more, 1350. There we go. And then we make sure we take all the space like this and all the space of this one. So now if we want to test things out, if we click on new unseen data, we can see the relationship of price and engine size. We can see our prediction. So this is the actual price of the car, and this is the predicted price we have from our model. So you can see we are not far off for all cars. As you can see, they are all very close. We can order them by higher price or by smaller price, increasing or decreasing. We can also test other fields, so like the engine type. So if we select this engine type, let's check. You can see everything updates. This one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. That's why we have 4 over here. Average price of those 4 cars is 19K. We can actually see the prices of these cars, the predictions of these cars. We can see the face of these cars. Actually, I need to unfilter this. So we have all faces, both existing and new. So you get the idea. Everything is connected with each other, and we've checked all the numbers, we've checked all the visuals, and they all work as they should. Right, so this is the end of this video. So this is how I was going to go about deploying my predictions and showing them to the business. I always try to have a dashboard where I have basic data at the top, not basic, the important data at the top, and then my predictions below. So that's supporting evidence of why we've made those predictions. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've gained enough value out of this video. If you feel like you did, then please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and enable notifications for my future videos. If you have any suggestions about future videos, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'm going to see you in the next video.